You can quit this job, find another job, and if you don't figure out why you keep accepting soul-sucking jobs, you will end up at the same job with a different name in a different building 5 months later. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but we quite literally do this to ourselves time and time and time again. And there comes a time where you have to look at what is the pattern that I've created, that I'm following, that allows me to continually end up in the same type of job in a new company and still feel the same way years later. I don't know about you, but I had to sit with that myself. And I think I've come to a couple conclusions. Maybe they're relatable, but I think sometimes when we're chasing a feeling, right? And it's usually a type of feeling that a position gives us, being in a certain type of role gives us, because we either want to feel a little more freedom, but we know we still got to work our corporate job, or we want to feel a little more like fulfilled with service. We want meaningful work that feels connective, right? So we go for that angle, but we may accept a few other things that are actually on our non-negotiable list, but we swept it under the rug. I think there's a couple different things that put us in that hamster wheel and dynamic of constantly chasing the same type of position that gives us the same type of feeling that ultimately leaves us unfulfilled time and time again. So when you're kind of looking at that bigger picture, I think it's important to sit down with the pattern and figure out, what am I doing? What do I even need from a job? What are my non-negotiables with the job? Has this season even passed where I keep trying to go back to what I knew because it was comfortable and I was good at it, but I'm actually done. I actually don't need to do that anymore. I realized that with my most recent role that I accepted. It was a position in healthcare that I've worked 4 years ago. And there's different levels with that industry. There's different variations. And I thought, okay, I'm doing meaningful work. This feels good. I can make this happen. Well, I focused so much on the mission that I missed all the other non-negotiables that I created for myself. And I let them be swept under the rug and accepted something that actually left me feeling soul sucking, left me with headaches and feeling the anxiousness in my nervous system, and having to make sure I hop back on and be available for this call by a certain time. And oh, if the call runs late, I can't end the call because I'm on the phone, helping someone. So I'm just going to have to be 40 minutes late for my next appointment in my real life because I was off of work an hour ago. Like, those are the things that I just completely ignored, and I don't want to ignore them anymore. I realize for me, work-life balance is important, and I don't want to be afraid to say that. And I'm not going to be afraid to tell you no if I can't stay over, no if I can't adjust my shift, no if I can't work late. I've always been the team player, rah rah, work for her, work for him, work for them. Yeah, I'll open the close. Yeah, I'll stay later. I'll do this and that. Oh yeah, let me learn your job too. I know how to do all four jobs. So I'm available whenever you need me, right? Right? Because my availability shows that I'm a true team player, and that shows that I can make more money because I'm more available. Wrong. Wrong. My availability like that shows that I am overextending myself and people pleasing. I am strongly self-abandoning my needs that I actually have because I really don't want to do all those things in the first place. And me saying no doesn't make me any less of a team player because I still show up, I do my job, I'm committed to the role, and I still have a life outside of this that I have to manage, balance, and maintain, and other things that I want to do. Because sadly enough, my world doesn't surround or focus itself solely around the job. Had to learn that the hard way. And I completely missed nurturing my non-negotiables in this season to the point that I normally would. So when we are accepting certain roles that have quite literally been draining and exhausting ourselves, there is always a pattern to be found. There is always a pattern to be found. If you know that you want work-life balance, if you know that you don't want to work on the weekends, if you know that you don't want to work past 5, if you know that you need a certain type of leadership and a certain type of atmosphere, if you know that you just thrive in a certain type of setting, if you know that work from home isn't for you because you thrive being around people, if you know that maybe you've had enough of being around people and you need to work from home in this season because it's better for your schedule with your kids, if you know that maybe you're trying to cut back on daycare and have the kids at home with you, so working at home just helps you out. I mean, I'm speaking from my dog mom lens here, but the parents that have real children know exactly what I'm talking about as well, because that's a lot of reality for you. Whatever that may be and whatever that may look like, you have to keep your non-negotiables at the forefront. You have to keep them tippy top of mind so you actually know why and know what needs to be a yes and know what needs to be a no and know what's just not going to work and not going to budge. I'm at this sweet spot and this sweet point where when I realized that it wasn't just this job, it was so much deeper than just this job, and everything has a root cause. I don't know if y'all have been around kids lately, but me being an aunt of 12, my nieces and nephews would always ask so many questions. And honey, I started off early being an auntie. Okay. They hit me hard in 5th grade and I've been trekking ever since. So where is my award? I deserve an award and gold stars. But my nephew, AJ, he would ask me a question. I'd answer it and he'd be like, why? 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 And I'm like, AJ, shh, shh, please be quiet. But it makes sense because now at this adult age of maturity and wisdom and awareness, we can continue to ask ourselves that question. I call it layered honesty. You can ask yourself that question until you get down to the root answer of why. Why did I say yes to this job? Why did I accept it? Why do I feel exhausted? Why is my head hurting? Why do I feel anxious about clocking in? Why do I feel overwhelmed when this person asks me to do this task? Why do I feel like I'm not even presently here? Why do I feel this? And why do I feel that? And like get down to it and you are going to find your answer. And when I say layered honesty, typically the first response we write is the response we think others are pleased by. You got to keep going. It's almost like when you get a bowl of rice and you wash in the rice, the first rinse, baby, that rice is still murky. Okay. It's still cloudy. It looks a little foggy, a little thick. You got to keep rinsing it about a good 5 or 6 times more until you actually have clear water running over that rice and the bowl is clear itself. Layered honesty is the same way. We got to get down to the root cause of our why to be able to have a clear understanding. So then when we know ourselves, then we can connect the pattern. And connecting the pattern means, oh, I can catch it. I can clock it a little earlier now when I see myself doing this. When I go to apply for these jobs, they tell me these are the parameters around this job. And I'm trying to kind of bend and weave around them, but it actually just doesn't align. I'm trying to make something align that doesn't align. And I'm not going to ignore my non-negotiables anymore because this is 2026. We are not self-abandoning ourselves. We are not self-abandoning. We are being true. We are being in alignment and we're being honest with ourselves more than anything. So I really want you to sit with that because I had to sit with that. And I had a moment where I wrestled with taking a day off and missing the pay versus nurturing my mind because it was a true mental health day. I cannot believe I debated if I should work and make the money or take the day off. That's when it really hit me because I have not been in a position like that in so long, so long. And I really had to check myself. Renee, you are worth the day off. You are worth the mental health day. You actually need to listen to your body. You can't ignore it because our body tells us before anything else does. Our body tells us when we're overwhelmed, when we're depleted, when we're anxious, when we're annoyed, when we're exhausted, when we just feel out of alignment. Our bodies, we feel it. And I literally sat with that for like an hour, actually. And I made the decision after thinking about it for an hour. And then I had to ask myself, girl, what took you so long? And I'm so happy I made the decision to take a mental health day because it was much enjoyed and much needed. So we've got to really love on ourselves more when we're making these career moves and choices and decisions, and really start to lean into those non-negotiables and not ignore it, because you will quite literally find yourself 5 years later working the same type of job with different coworkers at a bigger building with a different name and maybe a crazy leadership team. Who knows? And then it's like, wait, this is giving deja vu because I have absolutely been here before. And within that awareness, once you recognize that pattern, you can really start to set yourself up to exit. Um, Not just exit the job, but you want to exit the behavior as a whole and move towards what really serves you. So I like to say, when you know what you don't want, you actually lean in more with what you do want. And that is like one of the most honest feelings. And that's really just, we owe that to ourselves. We deserve that so much. And you deserve work that feels enjoyable. It feels aligned. I mean, every day is probably not going to be dandelions and sunflower seeds, but it's like it's just different when you are working a job where it's like, yes, this is it. Like, and then when you feel the camaraderie, when you feel the appreciation from not only like your leadership, but like your coworkers, and you work with people that are willing to help you and sort things out. And it's a culture where it really is conducive and it makes sense. You show up 110% different. I told you guys, I had my unicorn job 3 years ago, one of the best companies I have ever worked for. And I highlighted things about that job that I would want to carry over into another job. My non-negotiables, right? And I completely dropped the ball with accepting something that wasn't in alignment because I accepted it out of survival mode. Mm, that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother video. So keeping that at the forefront for all future positions, not only am I like working on my exit, because there's a difference between when you make an exit and you create an exit strategy. So not only am I working on the exit strategy like as a whole, I am keeping that unicorn job feeling at the forefront. Not the same container as in like not the same body of work, but the same container, and being in a position where I can create an environment like that for other people, and just seeking to cultivate like good, healthy teams and communities. And those are the things that I think about. If I'm still going to be in this corporate standing, the work and the container in which I do the work, like it matters so much. So something I want to share with you, that I think you may find a little helpful. I know I've talked about the exit and exit strategy. So an exit gets you out. An exit strategy makes sure you don't recreate this pattern somewhere else. It addresses what you need to change about how you show up, what you tolerate, what you say yes to, and what boundaries you're actually going to keep this time. So drop in the comments one boundary that you are going to keep with yourself when you start to look for your next role, the next job, career, the next company. The moment that you see or hear something that's like, oh, red flag, what's the boundary that you're holding that you are not letting go of? I know a big thing for me is definitely work-life balance. That is huge for me. I show up as my best self when I know my best self is honored and respected, and my best self doesn't have blurred lines. And I'm not dropping that ball no more. Quite frankly, I'm not dropping that ball anymore. So this is like the most beautiful day to talk about the exit strategy. And this is not only a beautiful day to highlight that, it is day 50 of 50 days straight on YouTube. Oh my gosh, 50 straight conversations with y'all. Y'all have showed up. Y'all been listening. Like people actually want to hear what I have to say in my little Delulu world. We have had moments of prayer. We have had moments of honesty. We have had moments of heartbreak. We have had moments of frustration and pivoting. But I mean, quite frankly, this is real life. And I'm so grateful that y'all continue to show up here, that you take whatever God has for you to take and be able to apply it in your life. Hopefully it steps you into a new reality of who you can be, who you desire to be. If you haven't known by now, I'm the ultimate cheerleader and I cannot wait to finish grad school to become a licensed therapist. I know I'm not going to be a traditional therapist, and I guess you can say I'm finally giving myself permission to just say that out loud and be okay with that. And I know I was so hesitant to be vulnerable to this capacity on here, but for me, having gone through all these traumas and trials of loss in life, I have realized vulnerability creates healing. And I love being a healed woman. Even in the midst of the hurt and not understanding and the frustrations, being a healed woman is the best type of woman I can be for myself. So I want to share that with you. I hope you get what you need. They say take what you need, leave the rest on the table. And I hope you stick around a little bit more. With all them hopes and dreams, it is time for lunch. But I think before lunch, we should do like a little celebration. So come with me. You guys, 50 days straight of posting every single day on YouTube. I quite literally don't think there's ever been anything I've done for 50 days straight. Well, I mean, I guess except for breathing. Well, that's well, sometimes barely. Okay, anyways, I could go on a tangent. I did the most me thing. I said, how would I celebrate a milestone of 50 days straight on YouTube? Tiramisu from Olive Garden. Because if you know, you know. It's my jam. So I want you guys to celebrate with me this milestone, this commitment to self. It's not just 50 days. It's quite literally loving myself, choosing myself, deciding to step out my norm and my box and realize the power in my voice. Someone asked me the other day, like, how do you find something to talk about? And I'm like, you are the something to talk about. The topic is you. You deserve to come on here and share parts of your life, share your story and your journey because you absolutely have no idea who it's going to resonate with. And when I tell you guys the vulnerability is healing, it quite literally is. So treat this like your Good Morning America platform. Treat this like you are already talking to hundreds of millions of people because one is enough to listen. Treat this like everything you deserve and visualize it to be the biggest or most coziest or smallest thing that you'd ever possibly want for yourself. Whatever you want for yourself, you got it and it is available to you. And ask me how I know. Because I literally posted 50 days straight on YouTube for the first time in my entire life. That is so crazy. We gotta really give ourselves permission to do the things that we do for other people that we don't do for ourselves. Okay? I guess that's the message. So did that. Cheers to 50 days on YouTube. And here's to 50 more. Peace out.